Well, I must say, business is booming. We seem to be doing pretty well. However, I feel like we need to diversify our material here. Like, maybe cover a new form of game. But what could we handle? T.O.?
Java, Java, this collector's edition copy of Cable number 2 that I'm having right now, this is from the 90s, is telling me something. Maybe something with people with big guns and big muscles.
Of course, Fortnite!
No.
Okay, maybe not. Okay, maybe not Fortnite. Halo. No. We're saving Halo.
Oh no,
for
I
a
got
later
one.
marathon.
I got one.
What?
I got one. Doom.
Well,
I actually, that's a topic for another time, Dweebs, and the guns are not impressive at first. No. There needs to be something specifically like that. I want to play like Cable. Do we have anything, Java? Like, maybe, I don't know, Nintendo certainly is not going to have it. Sony surely has only like the Killzone franchise, but that surely doesn't have people enough, muscle enough. Does Microsoft have anything, Java?
Oh, I know, Gears of War. Oh, but I don't really have it on my PC, and Lord knows I'm not getting an Xbox or an Xbox One just to play it.
Me neither.
So, who can we ask?
Hey, wasn't there that guy on our team who had an Xbox One? Some guy from Portugal, I think.
But Marco's not a major member.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. I know. My friend Pedro.
Don't worry, guys. I'll do the asking of Pedro, and I'll do it in as much a gentle way as I can.
Go right ahead.
Pedro, get your ass in here now!
Very good.
Dweebs, you're not his grandma.
Oh God, if that's how his grandma summons him.
Well, if it works, it works.
This better be good, guys. I was having a rest.
Oh my God, it worked! Pedro, we need you, our residential Xbox One owner of the group, in order to handle a project known as Project Gears of War, where we take a look at the Gears of War series. A new bit of fresh ground to look at the awesome Dude Bro action series that would totally in no way possibly compromise its own selling point 4 or 5 games in.
So I guess it came to that point where you need me. All right then. All right, Squirm Squad, get ready.
All right, lock and load, and Pedro, show us the way.
Well, okay, so going off from that, yeah, everybody, welcome to Gears of War Ultimate Edition.
Also, Ninja was online, okay?
So what's ultimate about this one, then?
Well, remember, Microsoft bought him, so...
True.
So what's so ultimate about this edition, then?
Basically, Gears of War originally came out in the Xbox 360 and PC back in 2006. The Ultimate Edition here you go. It was developed by the Coalition, the developers of Gears 4.
That's because the original trilogy was developed actually by Epic Games, right?
Yeah, but Epic Games stopped making AAA games because that's an interesting thing too. Apparently, from what I've been able to surmise, the reason Epic Games stopped making Gears of War games is because they were getting too expensive to produce for them. So Microsoft decided to buy the
I
IP
do remember. I actually do remember
guys, Gears of War 4 is here. I know, game, but we're not there yet.
I do remember the confusion was around that time. There were even rumors of that Sony might have bought the AP outright.
But nope, it was Microsoft who swooped in, of all people.
It was already Microsoft, but with this turmoil with Epic Games, people suspected they were about to take the AP with them and sell it instead to Sony.
Imagine, guys, a public turmoil with Epic Games.
Yes, Pedro?
It's two things too. The original game came out on Xbox 360 and PC. However, Microsoft decided to make a deal with Epic Games to have 2 and 3 be Xbox 360 exclusive. So as a result, it became more known to be an Xbox franchise than anything.
Sera?
By Jove, I do say nothing could possibly go wrong, and oh bother.
By Jove!
So yeah, this is how we start. A bunch of aliens called the locusts suddenly come out of the earth and attack Check everything.
So immediately, the Delta Squad comes to answer the call, complete with chainsaws,
Yes, led by Marcus Fenix, played by John DiMaggio.
who has a chainsaw gun, as in his
shit.
gun also doubles as a chainsaw.
Okay, everybody, so obviously, Gears of War is overall regarded as the dude broest of all dude bro shooters, and for a good reason. Look at this intro, like this is.
So in order to get rid of the locusts, we nuked Earth?
No. We just did a tactical nuke on a section of the place.
I actually do remember...
This intro is not even a proper, canon cutscene. It's just a cool, awesome intro just for the sake of,
okay. I actually do remember instead the actual marketing that the game had back in the day, because one thing that this franchise, at least for a couple of titles, loved to use for the marketing was to use the song Mad World, specifically the Gary Jules version, the one that you hear in stuff like Donnie Darko. I have no idea why they decided to do that, but I guess it worked.
Because
So casual is for your first Gears experience. Okay, this is my first Gears experience, so sure, yeah. Well, it said there too. Pick this if this is your first Gears experience. Well, it is. So.
I mean, sure. I'm not judging.
Not to mention, I was planning on trying to get through this game in a relatively
But
short amount of
Pedro,
time
you
anyway.
managed to breeze through through Quantum Break. You surely have the experience.
Well, I played that game on easy mode too, so.
Basically, folks, this game is what originated a lot of third-person action.
E-Day.
14 is after E-Day. It means Emergence Day, aka the day when the locusts officially started attacking. Yeah. So there you go. Marcus Fenix is actually a criminal and he's in prison. However,
What was this crime?
basically, the military is desperate to get rid of the locusts, so they decide to resort to asking Marcus to help.
I forgot in which specific game, but I actually had a tie-in comic to Gears of War that actually did explain this.
See, I told you our joke at the beginning would be meta.
Hoffman pardoned everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone has been pardoned and everyone's been drafted.
And who better to take care of, the alien menace than the most ripped people from prison, I guess?
Exactly.
Did Chris Redfield borrow the steroids from these guys?
Alright, so... Well, okay, so to answer this, that's Marcus's number 2 companion, Dom. Okay, basically everybody. By the way, to answer this question, the big difference is that back in 2006, when the first game released for both 360 and PC, the PC version actually had exclusive single-player content. Act 5 had some extra chapters. However, for the Ultimate Edition, the Coalition decided to pack everything up into one unanimous package. So this Ultimate Edition was the first time we had that exclusive PC content on a console. So that's the first time. This Ultimate Edition also applied the lighting engine from Gears of War 3 because Gears of War 3 implemented the more balanced color style just so that it doesn't over.
Yeah.
Just so for the purpose of not overdoing it with the browniness and the darkness and the lack of colors and shit. So and I actually don't mind this balance. The balance of Gears 3 and this Ultimate Edition look fine. This is how it should look. Unlike the 4 and 5, where they look a bit too colorful, to be honest.
Alright, folks, so you're probably... So, folks, if you're into gaming, you've likely heard of Gears of War. Why is that? Gears of War is one of the household names that helped revolutionize the third-person shooter genre, and as the series developed, it would give birth to a lot of mechanics that you notice in a lot of third-person action or shooter games, such as the cover system, weapon switching on the go here and there. Heck, the very pose you normally see in third-person shooters.
For shooters to actually understand, hey, maybe we can have our character actually repairing behind the object.
That too,
It wasn't the first ever cover version, but it was the game that basically popularized the style and created a lot of staples of the genre that nowadays people take for granted.
Ever noticed the trend how it's almost never the actual first game that revolutionizes the trend, but a more better known game
well,
that
that's what a pioneer is,
Yeah, sure, makes sense.
Long run, but not on the first. But yes, Pedro.
Yeah, but for the purpose of you, Dibs, you've played Uncharted, so the cover-based shooting is basically the same. I do find a bit weird that the button placement is a bit awkward for me in the sense that you cover with the A button. That would be fine, but the A button is also the button that allows you to climb over objects.
One more.
So basically, in order to climb over objects, you need to first, take cover on it and then press A again.
Oh, it's just like I had to do the basic. I don't know if it was noticeable in my round, but I had to do the same identical thing in Dark Void.
So,
The cover
For a
section.
You wanted to
For
work out the
a
speed?
second there, I thought you said the EA bot.
considering Dark Void came out 4 years later, you'd think they would
Oh,
have
yeah.
realized by that.
More like they thought the mechanic was actually fine for them.
So yeah, if you've played any game with cover-based shooting mechanics, you already know how this goes. For the record, when it comes to the Ultimate Edition is kind of an interesting re-release of a game. It's neither a remaster nor a remake. It's kind of a mix of both. In the sense that they still use the original voice acting from the original 2006 version. However, they upgraded some of the original assets. However, the cutscenes are entirely remade from the ground up, fully mocapped, unlike the original game, in which the cutscenes were animated by hand. So it's kind of this mishmash of like some aspects were remade, others were just remastered. It's interesting.
I guess you could call it a remake.
Sure.
Well, we know that Johnny Maggio voices are protagonists, but who's voicing them?
I haven't actually checked the credits yet.
I'll get on IMDb in the meantime.
I immediately recognize Marcus as John DiMaggio, but the others I don't particularly recognize.
So,
Yeah, he does the same tone. He's having the Bender tone.
basically, folks, allow me to explain. Gears of War is sort of like what would happen if Expendables 1 had the writing tier of Expendables 2. Basically, Expendables with more of a plot here. Yeah, it does start off more dude-bro-y here, but actually as we venture further into this epic world of locust, mayhem, betrayal, and love, yes, I did not stutter, love as well, you'll see that Marcus Fenix has quite a bit of depth to him as a character. I mean, hey, he shows up in a prison at first.
You can clearly see that the inspiration is from the Image comics, well, the Rob Liefeld style of 90s, characters like heroes and anti-heroes, specifically Cable.
At
You know,
least
like
it-
with him.
The benefit is that it has a
bulky dude
design that
with
doesn't
the
make...
massive gun. And believe me, I don't know in which specific, but I mean, considering the pacing of the traditional shooter, pretty soon now we're probably gonna get the signature weapon that this franchise invented, the Lancer.
It starts specifically, what Joe was talking about starts specifically in Gears of War 2, where we start to talk about Dom's wife, because she doesn't show up in this.
I mean, after all, these people kind of needed to have a reason to be in prison to begin with.
Exactly. This particular first game, on the other hand, plays it a bit more safe. The plot of this game boils down to there's aliens destroying the Earth, go kill them. There's basically no character development in general. The characters are fine, don't get me wrong, they have a fun banter. However, the story doesn't really become more, more heavy on character development until the second.
I can understand that for a first game in a franchise that's not like, a visual novel series where, story is kind of essential.
Sure. Yeah, this was, wasn't this Epic first AAA game?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't know that it was made specifically as a showcase for the Unreal Engine. But I don't know if it was their first.
Anyway, Dom is voiced by Carlos Ferro. Let me check.
I don't know
Awesome.
what that is.
Apparently, he's been in a lot of things. Let me see if there's something specifically.
So basically, what we have to do now is we have to get off of the prison, because even the prison is fucking getting attacked by locusts.
Yeah.
What we maybe see here is.
Oh yeah, that animation you just saw, that's the road you run. Yes, that's what it's called. Basically, unlike say Uncharted, where you just run normally with the analog stick and you run as fast as you push the analog stick. This game has a more of a you hold the A button to run. My problem is that it's like when it looks good visually, but in terms of controlling it, it's very let's just say. It's,
I mean, it's still more intuitive than a lot of the B tier shooter, because at least you have to press just one of the buttons, like the A button in this case, because in a lot of shooters, in order to sprint, you have to press the analog stick,
Oh,
which
I
is a very
hate
awkward
those.
motion when you have to do that.
Yeah, I have never
yeah,
really
might as
gotten the
well.
whole trend of pressing down on the analog sticks to run. It's like, that has never really felt comfortable and never really all that reliable. I never got how that became a trend.
Okay, unlike some later color-based shooters, the Gears games don't have that thing where the screen starts going black and white when you take damage. Instead, a gear starts showing up in the center of the screen.
Get
Oh,
it? Get it?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, and look at that. Nice imagery there. Get the person blocked. I just did. Alright, so now what? Checkpoint. Oh,
Apparently, Pedro Carlos Ferro is voicing a couple of characters in Shenmue 3.
Huh.
oh, cool.
Neat. Oh, well, I guess it makes
also-
sense given
It was also
his...
a couple of specific NPCs in Lightning Returns. Good to know. I
How
guess.
cute, he's
Well,
back.
practically everybody was in the 13 trilogy. so-
True, but in this case, instead of just miscellaneous voice, he's listed specifically three types of voices. Weird enough.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's the thing.
no.
Basically, your squad mates sometimes will get hurt, and when they get hurt, they get incapacitated and they can't shoot. What you need to do is you go over to them and press X to, I guess Marcus has infinite Phoenix downs on him. I don't know.
He can heal almost any injury that they suffer.
It's kind of funny. I played not too recently, but recently enough. Practically a bootleg clone of this game of these formula, completely identical,
You know
almost to the controls and the reviving system.
The
But
way
I'll talk more about it another time. Go on.
The way the Rotary Run animation is directed, like it really was caters to that mentality of the let's move.
Yeah, you can definitely tell somebody was a fan of war movies with this.
Yeah, this is clearly a Michael Bay tier American Army commercial, pretty much.
So how much of the apocalypse have I missed?
Well, let's see. Humans cut in half or chewed in half. People getting decapitated. The works.
Like I said, the part of this particular game, it gets more involved in the sequels, but this particular game doesn't require that much in terms. The part of this game boils down to this: aliens are attacking, kill them. Just to save the world.
So this is a more extreme version of the apocalypse.
Honestly, I'm also kind of amazed by the fact that these, why not being the very first one, still pioneered the cover-based shooter, and the characters that you control seems to be the one that should fit the least behind the cover for how bulky they are.
The characters, the squad characters are clearly meant to be like your typical male macho fantasy.
As for
Again, like I said, Rob Liefeld standard character design of the 90s. It's pretty clear.
the difference is that they actually have anatomy that works and doesn't make people
Yeah,
puke.
they actually have feet.
Anyway, too, it's funny you mention that. Despite how muscular they are, this game does try to play some bouts to realism in the sense that, yes, while they're muscle-bound and everything, they are still tactically smart, and, don't just charge in guns blazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one issue that I do have, every time a major big cutscene happens, the press thing to skip always shows up in the bottom left corner for some reason, regardless of what I do. I don't understand why it shows up there. Okay, I get it. I can skip the cutscenes. You don't need to remind me every time one of them starts. Kind of breaks the immersion.
Yeah.
Pedro, it's a reminder of how much.
There you go, Theo. There's the Lancer.
Yeah.
Pedro,
Yes.
it's a constant reminder of how much the characters in the game wish they had to skip.
I guess.
As a weapon design, the Lancer is
on,
kind
go
of... That's what I also mentioned later.
So yeah, Marcus is a legend already. In this,
Oh, is this Carmine? If he is, I actually know about him.
Well, we'll get to that too. Oh boy, here we go, guys! It's the generic, over-the-top, incredibly patronizing
Square
sergeant.
jaw. Seriously, look at that sheen.
Looks to me like you need all the help you can get.
Step aside. Lieutenant, I've got good news.
So it's time for a contest. It does, you know what? Get used to this because this particular game is all about these guys competing about which of them is the biggest.
We're gonna say the biggest douchebag.
Well,
that counts too.
snap.
Locust!
Oh yeah, basically, unlike your typical, unlike your typical alien or zombie in a video game, the locusts actually use weapons. There are various types of locusts, but the most common ones are the humanoid ones that also use weapons. And yeah, this guy's voice direction is so cliche that it's amazing.
It's delicious with the cheese it delivers.
It is, isn't it? It's just a shame that this particular character doesn't have much screen time in the whole game.
This is one thing I love the original trilogy of Gears of War for. It's like, well, it's a nice reminder of what things were like back in the day with dude bro shooters. It's nice every now and then to have a game like this that pretty much, just goes wild with stuff. And this game is no exception.
Down to 2. Nemesis are keeping our birds out of the area.
Nemesis.
On foot.
We're screwed.
Well put.
I actually really like this scene because while the sergeant is kind of the plan, Marcus is just there killing everybody. Okay,
Yeah,
we're done. We're
literally
safe now.
exactly.
Get done. I expect you to give me 110%, Phoenix.
Sir, the scale only goes to 100%.
I want 110, damn it!
I don't give a damn.
Also, Marcus was a tsundere for that scene. I'm not doing for you, fuck.
It's gonna.
He actually is right.
I know.
When he says that.
Anyway, the Lancer, I will say, the Lancer as a weapon design is simple yet very effective in design. I think it functions like an assault rifle for ranged mode.
Well,
but
it's more like a machine gun too. The primary, the Lancer is the iconic gun of the Gears franchise. Why? Because aside from being a really effective machine gun, it also has a saw.
a chainsaw.
A chainsaw in it, which means you can cut your enemies in half to awesomely gory, bloody results.
So you know what that means to you?
Unfortunately,
It's essentially a gun blade of sorts.
Unfortunately,
Damn it.
one cool thing about
A useful one, though.
One cool thing about the original trilogy, the ones that were made by Epic Games, is that there's actually quite a lot of attention to detail when it comes to the gore in this game. Borderline Mortal Kombat-ish in a lot of ways. Like, because when you cut the enemy with a chainsaw, the gore always differs depending on the perspective where you hit them, and like you can even see the organs individually and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the Coalition with the more modern Gears games, they went a bit more cartoony with their gore, in the sense that you just see red blood splatters rather than the organs. But we'll get to those.
Yeah.
Basically, folks, Gears of War 4 through 5 are a bit controversial, to say the least.
I forgot. Does Judgment come before or after?
I'm not familiar with Judgment. From what I've heard, apparently Gears fans don't care much for it, so I will not beat it. Maybe I'll get to it down the line, but for now, I'll stick to the main one.
God, isn't Judgment more like a spin-off anyway?
I don't.
I haven't looked enough into it.
That's also why I asked.
I know it's a spin-off. I just don't know what it's about.
Grubs!
Look at what has become of our world.
Oh yeah, the grubs basically.
Foot soldier moves.
I guess the standard Mooka.
Yeah, these are the standard mooks. Yes. They're a bit more armored than the previous ones, but outside of that, they're basically boiled down to just the same. So. And no, before you ask, there's no friendly fire in this game. However, it is an interesting thing that if you shoot your companions, Marcus will go like, "You're blocking my shots." Emergence holes. Basically, locust often comes out of the holes in the ground, meaning there's plenty of times in the game where suddenly an emergence hole will pop up, which means you have to either two options: either kill all the locusts that come out of that hole, or use frag grenades and dump them into the hole to kill them before they even leave the hole. So basically, that's the primary idea with the emergence hole. Oh yeah, the reload. Here's an interesting thing, Blips, for you. You know how in Uncharted you just press the reload button and that's it. Well, since this game, unlike Uncharted, is only entirely focused on the cover-based shooting and doesn't have any platforming, and at least not the first one, they decided to do something interesting with. When you reload, it takes there's a little bar that you'll see. There it goes. Notice that? Did you notice that wide zone? It basically, you press R1 once, and then that particular. If you manage to press R1 again when it gets that specific little area, you'll be able to reload faster. So basically, the game will reward you if you're paying attention to your. But basically, get good with the timing with that bar, and you'll be able to reload.
It's an interesting reload mechanic. Not one of the more popular things that a lot of games would take from, but still, it's an interesting take on it.
Dude, what are you talking about? I see this kind of thing implemented all the time. I even heard about this one game where you have to be really careful of how you have to be really careful of how you reload, because if you don't press the button in time, your gun will explode and you die.
Another thing, one other thing that I do kind of take an issue with right from the beginning as well, by the way, is that notice how I'm going through the tutorial phase right now. Unfortunately, the game never really explains to me how the chainsaw works. I had to learn it by myself. Basically, you're supposed to hold the B button and then get near an enemy. I wasn't aware of this, so I only figured out for myself later. Basically, what I was doing earlier there, I was trying to chainsaw the enemy, but so I was pressing the B button. I didn't know I would hold it because the game didn't tell me anything, which is interesting. Because I mean, you're tutorializing everything else, but you don't tutorialize the chainsaw.
That seems a bit weird. Although I will say this again, another thing I like about Gears of War is that it gives the two essentials. Yes, there's shooting, but there's thank goodness also melee attacks. I cannot stress enough I cannot stress enough how important it is for a third-person shooter to have access to melee attacks.
Well, to be fair, aside from Quantum Break, is there like any other cover-based shooter that doesn't have melee attacks aside from Quantum Break?
It depends.
Even then, if I recall correctly, one of your superpowers allows you to do something close to a melee attack, but it's
not
more
scripted. Not really too, no.
I don't remember distinctly something like that, but it was like a scripted sequence more than anything.
No, I think you're thinking about the super speed one, but that has nothing to do with attacking, it's just
No, it's
speed.
dodging more so. Or just,
anyway,
circumventing obstacles.
Anyway, founded the voice actor for Mr. Square Jaw, I think, Jamie Alcroft, which apparently voiced a couple of characters in the first Spyro.
Huh.
Well, that's the thing too. Like the cover-based shooting mechanics of Quantum Break in general just feel unfinished.
Yeah.
Not only does it not have a cover system, you can even hip fire. For those who don't know what hip fire is, even though it's a cover-based shooters use the typical control that you see in most games nowadays, where you hold L2 to aim and you press R2 to shoot. However, you can also just press R2 and you'll do a hip fire, which is basically you'll just shoot forward from where you are without a more precise aim. Quantum Break doesn't have hip fire. Again, it's just one of those things where it just feels like they took away game mechanics for no reason. It didn't.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. In a lot of shooters, trophies or there is at least one trophy or achievement given to you for killing a lot of enemies with that kind of fire.
Yeah.
It is weird. Oh yeah, we're another emergent soul.
Damn it. Also, yeah, as you can hear the...
Also, that alien clip for the bars, by the way.
Yeah, you can hear the locusts, as far as I know, again, I may have some very minor experience with knowing the franchise, but again, only on a surface level. The locusts are able to talk, just not in a proper way, as you can imagine.
It's a mixture of garble with the "We Are Legion"
They
type
can
of voice.
speak some words, but it's more stuff. If you have to, the important thing is that yes, they can understand each other. There is a reason behind that and all. But in terms of actually speaking, they only utter a couple of words that are understandable in English.
Mm-hmm. Reload. And, dude, what are you doing?
It's kind of funny that the reload mechanic.
Yeah, the AI is the partner. Let me just put it like this right now: the partner AI in this first game, at least, is not the best. Let's just say.
Ooh,
yeah.
collectible log tag.
Sir, I found something on the wall. It's a wall. Yes, I know. It's
This clearly deserves further inspection.
All right, we'll continue killing more locusts so we can save America. Goddammit! In the next part.
See
What
ya.
about the rest of the world?
See ya.
No, Dwebs, the rest of the world doesn't matter. Only America. Fuck yeah.
No, Pedro. Haven't you seen Independence Day? This will be the true Independence Day for the entire world. The day that we reclaimed our freedom from the alien scum, and that Will Smith helped save us all, along with Jeff Goldblum.
See ya.